And we're back at the Cyclone Taylor Cup in Minaroo Arena in Richmond, BC. I'm talking with the general manager and head coach of the Oceanside Generals of the VIJHL. Great to talk to you on a Friday afternoon. How's your summer been so far, or your spring so far?
Yeah, it's been same old. Always building. Took 1 week off the ice and I've been making contacts and trying to build camps as everyone else is, and trying to build our squad for next year. So, coming here is a good thing, seeing how our representatives playing and then how other teams are playing. And, there's teams on the island that are probably going to pick up some players, and if it doesn't work out with those junior A teams, we look to AP those guys.
Well, let's talk about the season. Oceanside Generals had fallen on hard times for a long, long time. You took the helm for a full year this year and really turned the culture around in that organization, where all of a sudden, if guys weren't playing for the crest on their jersey, they weren't playing on your team. Talk about the season for you and your expectations and whether or not you feel you hit the mark.
We'll start backwards. I think we were close. We wanted to be as close to 500 as we could be. And 20 wins was kind of the target. We ended up at 18 wins. I think 5 overtime losses and a tie. So you're as close as you could be on that. Our main thing was the culture. We wanted to bring in character kids that might not have been those overly talented kids in the scoring stats, but worked hard and off the ice were good kids. And I think we did a good job. We had some guys leave because they just didn't fill our model. And, like I say, it was a good year. You always want more, even though it's going your way. And, we did go out 4 straight to Nanaimo, but I think they were, 3 were ultra competitive games. Game 3 was what it was. We probably should have won 2 of those in my mind. And, but you know what? It was a good building process. If we could keep a core of the kids together, that 4-game series in the playoffs is huge. When you can get that experience, you look at the teams that are here right now, the experience they have, the playoff time, the guys that play junior A, it's a huge thing to have. So we'll still be young next year, and we're looking to recruit, to put people in certain positions. But it's like anyone. Everyone's trying to improve all the time.
Well, let's just talk a little about the North Division. The Oceanside Generals are a very unenviable position where you play the Campbell River Storm and the Nanaimo Buccaneers 20 of your 48 games. So that had a lot to do with it. I want to talk about, though, you've got a spring camp coming up. I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, main long weekend. Last year we were April. This year we're going to go a little bit later. We're going to go after Global and after some of the other teams have kind of had their camps. It's always tough because there's a million teams out there with a million camps. We try to breed the whole idea that you get value for money in our camp. We make sure we try to put a top-notch camp on. The kids get lots of ice time, lots of instructions. We do a great team lunch in between. Last year was kind of my first time with the team doing that. It was real good. People always worry about camps being money grabs and things like that. We're looking to find 25 kids that fit what we're trying to do to start the season with, and then as we go from there, they kind of label out what kind of ice time they're going to get and where they're going to fit with our team. And we work really well with a lot of the VI teams. There's kind of a good camaraderie between Campbell River, ourselves, Nanaimo, Comox. We're starting to get there. Some of the South teams. We're all trying to help each other build and be as strong as we can be and as competitive as we be. With next year the Cyclone being in Campbell River, I think it's a year or 2 ahead of where our building process was to go for it. But we had a really good year last year with the young guys, and we're going to build from that. And I think we're going to challenge the Nanaimos for sure.
I did want to make a comment about your organization, because I've watched your organization for a number of years, and really, for me, you guys led the way on a lot of different areas, particularly on the marketing and social media. You teamed up with Quality Foods. You guys have done, the work of Kyle Ireland, and your entire organization has been great. Talk about the year from a marketing perspective.
Looking at the whole thing, when I was in Europe playing, that was my side job, was marketing and that kind of thing, and getting sponsorships. And Kyle Ireland, you hit the nail on the head right there. That was a
broadcaster of the year in the VIJHL.
You two guys are like a 1-2 punch. It's unbelievable what you guys can do, and the social media and how we're getting it out there. And the people that kept the team going for years was great. The older generation, they kept it kind of taking over. They did within their knowledge. Whereas the people that we brought in, the Jerry Bickertons, he's a businessman, to come in from head coach to president. He knows the game. He's been around the game. The Pete Creightons, the Kays, the Hannibals, everyone that's involved in our board. Even if they had kids in the team, we said, look, no matter what happens with your kids, this is a buy-in. And they said yes. And, we wanted to make it a way more professional system. It's year 1. That's the start. We set the bar pretty high. It's year 1. We want to build off that. We want to have better competitions. We want to have better game night entertainment. We want to have better sponsors, more sponsors. But it's a building process. We painted our room this year. We made it more like our home. It's an ongoing process. As you've been doing this for a little while, a couple years. Lee came in how many years ago? 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Same type of thing. After year 2, he got 2 dynamite hockey players that kind of won games for him, and he built his program that way, and he's very good at what he does. I'm trying to emulate a lot of his model because he does a great job at camps bringing kids in and developing those kids to the next level, which is our important thing too. We want to make sure those kids are playing junior A 1 or 2 years in.
And I think you're being very successful as well because you're seeing it in the stands. On a Saturday night, the place to be is the Howie Meeker Arena on a Saturday night in Parksville.
You know what? Last year, I think success breeds the bums on seats. I think with the away teams, they were actually bringing more people to our games because it was more competitive. And I think the fact that even the games we lost, five losses in overtime. Tie. We lost, I think, 6 one-goal games or empty net goal games. It was competitive. It was entertaining. I got to sit back and watch my team play really good hockey teams and go, wow, that was actually a really fun game to watch. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing. If you can get some success with entertainment on the ice and hardworking kids, those people will come. Those people are hardworking people that found a place to retire, and they'll come and watch you.
And we only have a couple of minutes left, but one of the things I want to talk about is because I believe that, for a lot of hockey players, when their junior hockey career ends, they either go to college or end hockey. There's another option. The option is playing elsewhere in the world, and you did that. Talk about your experience overseas.
You know what? It wasn't the NHL, but it was my NHL. Through my career over there, I got to play against Wade Belak, Eric Cairns, Theo Fleury when the lockouts were happening. My first game or third game in the country was against Frank Caprice, who played for the Canucks. It was a great experience. A 21-year-old kid going over to a new country, getting paid to whack a puck around the rink was fantastic.
I was in England, right?
I was in England and Scotland, yeah. I'm actually going back May the 3rd. I fly back May the 5th. My buddy James Ferrara, he was 17 years old when he joined the senior team with me. I was there for his first game, so I'm going back for his testimonial tournament. I'm going to put the skates back on. Everything I was when I played, but you know what? And anyone that wants some advice or wants some help with that, look me up. Send me an email to gm at oceansidegenerals.com or just look up Jesse Hammill and get in contact. I love to help people. I love to help the kids keep playing and enjoying their careers. And it was awesome. It was great.
And you got your first taste of coaching over there too.
I did as a player coach. Man, that's tough. But it's how the money's paid and it's needs must, right? So I learned a lot by being on the ice and playing and coaching at the same time. I recommend it to anyone. If you go for 1 year, I recommend it to anyone. Keep your career going as long as you can.
Jesse Hammill, the general manager and head coach of the Oceanside Generals, has been my intermission guest. Thank you very much, Jesse. Appreciate this.